It is Friday night, and nothing is technically wrong. You are inside a safe apartment. The door is locked, there is food in the kitchen, heat or air conditioning, and a phone close enough to reach without standing up. Outside, thousands of people are moving through the same city, but your phone has been quiet for hours. You open it anyway, no new message. You close it, wait a minute, and check again, as if something might have changed while the screen was dark. The room has not become dangerous. Your body just does not seem to agree. Loneliness feels like an emotion, but part of your nervous system may be treating it like a survival problem. That does not mean every lonely night is a replay of the Stone Age. Human feelings are never that tidy. Still, there is a reason being ignored can hurt so much, why rejection can occupy your mind for days, and why a person can feel exposed while sitting behind a locked door. The answer starts with a distinction we often miss. Being alone and feeling lonely are not the same thing. Some people can spend an entire afternoon alone and feel wonderful. They read, work, walk, cook, or sit in silence without wanting anyone else in the room. Loneliness is different. It appears when the relationships you have do not match the relationships you feel you need. You can feel it after moving to a new city. You can feel it when a group chat keeps moving without you, or when everyone at a party seems to know where to stand except you. You can even feel lonely beside someone you have known for years. Your brain is not simply counting bodies. It is trying to answer a harder question. Do I still belong to a relationship I can depend on? For most of human history, that question carried practical weight. Humans are not impressive solitary animals. We do not have the claws of a big cat, the armor of a turtle, or the speed to outrun every predator. Our children remain dependent for years. We can become helpless after an injury that many animals would either recover from quickly or not survive at all. Even getting enough food has often required knowledge, tools, patience, and luck. The usual picture of prehistoric survival focuses on the heroic hunter. One person, one spear, one dangerous animal. It makes a good image. It is also a poor description of how human life works. Hunting returns are unpredictable. A skilled hunter can fail. Plants ripen in different places and seasons. Children need food before they can produce much themselves. An injured adult may still know where water is, how to repair a tool, or when animals will move, but knowledge does not fill an empty stomach by itself. People made that unstable life more manageable by depending on one another. Research on present-day hunter-gatherer communities cannot give us a video recording of the distant past. These societies have their own histories and should not be treated as living fossils. But they can show how food sharing and cooperation solve problems that one person cannot solve alone. In 2016, researchers mapped food sharing networks among Palanan Agta communities in the Philippines and Mbengele Bayaka communities in the Republic of Congo. The sharing was not random. People lived inside several layers of connection: households, small clusters of households, and wider camps. Food moved through those layers in ways that supported relatives, partners, and reciprocal relationships. That matters because food often arrived unevenly. One household might have a good day, while another had a bad one. Tomorrow, their luck could reverse. Sharing helped spread the risk. The group worked a little like insurance, except there was no office, no contract, and no monthly bill. There were relationships. You shared when you had something, accepted help when you did not, and remained part of a network that could absorb a run of bad luck better than any person could. Food was only part of it. More people meant more eyes watching children, more hands carrying supplies, more chances that someone remembered a safe route or recognized the first signs of a storm. If you became sick or injured, the group could keep you alive long enough for your knowledge and labor to matter again. None of this made early communities peaceful. People argued, competed, betrayed one another, and sometimes pushed people out. Human groups have never been cozy little circles where everyone behaved well. That is exactly why belonging mattered. Acceptance could affect access to food, information, protection, and care. Rejection was not merely embarrassing, it could change the odds around you. A brain living in that world needed to notice social trouble early. It needed to care when an ally became distant, when the group stopped sharing, or when other people began acting as if you were no longer one of them. A social warning that felt mild would have been easy to ignore. A warning that hurt would get your attention. In 2003, researchers tested a small piece of that idea with a deceptively simple computer game. Participants believed they were tossing a virtual ball with two other people. After a while, the other players stopped throwing the ball to them. That was it. No insults, no public humiliation. Two animated players simply left them out. The excluded participants reported distress, and brain scans showed changes in regions involved in processing distress and regulating painful experiences. The result helped launch years of research into what became known as social pain. The popular version of this finding is that rejection is exactly the same as physical pain. That claim is too clean. Social pain and physical pain are not identical, and researchers still debate how specific the overlap is. The useful point is simpler. Exclusion does not remain an abstract thought. The brain treats damaged social connection as something important enough to produce a real, attention-demanding response. That helps explain why a tiny social event can grow so large in your head. A friend answers everyone except you. Co-workers go to lunch without asking. Someone you care about suddenly writes shorter messages. There is no visible injury, but your mind begins replaying the details as if solving them could keep something worse from happening. And then loneliness creates a second problem. When an animal becomes separated from safety, relaxing is not the smart response. It needs to watch more carefully. Where is the threat? Which direction is safe? Can anything nearby be trusted? Researchers studying loneliness have proposed that a similar shift can happen socially. When people feel disconnected, they may become more alert to signs of rejection or hostility. An uncertain expression can look colder. A delayed reply can feel deliberate. A quiet room can start to feel like evidence that nobody cares. This does not mean lonely people are irrational or suspicious. It means the mind may change its priorities when connection feels uncertain. Self-protection moves closer to the front. That can create a miserable loop. You want connection, but you also expect it to go badly. You notice the person who looks away and miss the person who tried to smile. You answer cautiously, the conversation stays shallow, and the lack of warmth seems to confirm what you feared. An alarm that was supposed to bring someone back toward the group can sometimes make the group feel harder to approach. Modern life gives this old system a strange environment to work with. You can live in a building with hundreds of people and know none of them. You can move across the country for school or work, leaving the relationships that once formed the background of daily life. You can work from home for months while speaking to co-workers every day and still realize that nobody has been in the same room with you all week. The phone complicates the story. Online relationships are real relationships, and a message can genuinely help. The internet has allowed people to find friends, communities, and support they might never have found nearby. Blaming loneliness on screens alone is lazy. But a screen also makes it possible to receive constant evidence of other people's social lives without feeling included in them. You can watch a party you were not invited to, see an old friend build a new circle, or collect dozens of small interactions that never become dependable relationships. The ancient system is asking, who would notice if I disappeared? Who would help if something went wrong? Who can I call without first preparing an explanation? A follow account cannot always answer those questions. This may be why one reliable conversation can feel better than an evening spent in a crowded room. The brain is not necessarily asking for more people. It may be looking for mutual attention, predictable care, and some sign that the connection will still exist tomorrow. The United States Surgeon General has described social connection as a public health issue, not a minor lifestyle preference. The point is not that every quiet weekend is dangerous. The point is that persistent disconnection can affect stress, behavior, and health in ways worth taking seriously. Loneliness is not proof that you are weak, unpopular, or failing at modern life. It is also not a perfect message from an ancient brain. Alarms can become too sensitive. They can keep ringing after the immediate problem has changed, and they can be shaped by grief, trauma, illness, depression, anxiety, or a major life transition. But the alarm has a history. For a species whose survival depended on shared food, shared knowledge, long childhoods, and help during bad luck, connection became part of safety. Losing it needed to feel uncomfortable enough that people would notice and respond. So, the answer to our opening question is not that your apartment is secretly dangerous. It is that your brain uses more than walls and locks to decide whether you are safe. It also looks for people. That does not mean you must fill every quiet moment. Solitude can be useful, peaceful, and deeply chosen. The difference is whether you feel free to return from it and whether someone would meet you when you did. The next time loneliness makes a safe room feel strangely wrong, remember that the feeling is not a verdict on your life. It may be an old warning system trying, sometimes clumsily, to protect a social animal. Which feels worse to you? Being physically alone, or being surrounded by people who do not really know you? Write your answer in the comments. And if you want to see the other ancient instincts still operating behind modern life, watch Every Ancient Instinct Still Controlling You Today next.